Under the fading August light of 1879, the Wyoming Territory stretched wide and lonesome around Callahan Ranch. Wade Callahan, 38, stood by a splintered fence, his weathered hands resting on the post as he watched her. She'd appeared one morning, a woman with frayed clothes and eyes that dodged his, offering to clean his barn for a meal and a few coins. Silent, she worked through the stables, scraping muck and brushing down a mare with a quiet resolve that tugged at something deep in Wade's chest. Her name was Evelyn, though she never offered it. He learned it from a slip of paper she left behind, her handwriting small and deliberate. Each dawn, before the sun crested the peaks, Evelyn arrived, worked until dusk, then vanished down a trail without a word. She carried no bag, only the weight of her silence, her gaze fixed on the ground. Wade wondered where she went, what kept her moving, what scars hid behind her guarded eyes. She spoke to the horses, to the dirt, but never to him. By the fifth day, curiosity won. He followed her, keeping his distance as she wound through pine groves and over a dry creek bed. The path opened to a clearing where a sagging tarp and leaning canvas formed a makeshift shelter. A thin thread of smoke rose from a bent stovepipe, and a lantern's glow flickered within. Wade paused, guilt pricking at him for intruding. He nearly turned back, but then he heard it, children's laughter, bright and unburdened, cutting through the twilight. Peering through gaps in the canvas, he saw 4 small figures, 2 boys, 2 girls, their faces thin but alive with spirit. The youngest, a girl of 5, chased a moth, her giggles dancing in the air. Evelyn lifted her gently, smoothing her hair with a tenderness Wade hadn't imagined. When the girl stumbled, Evelyn's arms were there, steady and warm. The other children glanced toward the shelter's opening, their eyes catching his shadow. They didn't cry out, but their trust in Evelyn was clear, fierce, unbreakable. Her gaze met his, raw and unguarded, and in that moment, Wade saw her not as a hired hand but as a mother carrying a world alone. He stepped back, heart pounding, knowing he'd crossed into something sacred. The next morning, frost kissed the grass, and Wade left a sack of flour and salted pork by the woodshed, a note tucked inside, for the children. Evelyn arrived as always, silent, her bonnet fraying at the edges. She worked without pause, but when Wade checked later, the sack remained, a silver coin and a note in its place. Please do not give again. I work to live. I do not beg. He read it twice, tucking it into a drawer with care. The next day, he left a clean hand towel, tied with twine. She took it, and that was enough. Days later, a boy appeared at the ranch house, freckled and no older than 11, clutching a basket of 6 eggs. "You're the one who gave my mama the towel?" he asked. Wade nodded. "I'm James," the boy said, offering the eggs. "Mama said it's not right to take without giving." Wade's throat tightened as he accepted the basket, the eggs nestled in scraps of cloth. That night, he sat by his fire, the image of Evelyn's children, James, Clara, Lily, Sam, burning brighter than the flames. Evelyn began leaving small tokens, wild berries in a jar, a half-stitched sock, a child's charcoal sketch. Wade didn't push her silence, but he felt her pride, like a tree rooted in stone, unyielding yet alive. One day, a strip of muslin hung on the fence, embroidered with the children's names. Wade touched it, whispering, "Now I know who I'm working for." A hailstorm came, fierce and sudden, rattling the barn and sending horses into a panic. Wade didn't hesitate. He saddled up and rode through the mud to Evelyn's shelter. The tarp had collapsed, the stovepipe cold. Inside, Evelyn slumped against a wall, blood trickling from her temple, her arms spread as if to shield the children curled beneath quilts. "We're going," Wade said, lifting the youngest and helping the others. Evelyn rose, shaky but unyielding, and followed. At the ranch, Wade built a fire, its warmth filling the cabin. He handed the youngest a cup of warm milk, her small hands trembling as she drank. Evelyn stood, soaked and shivering, her eyes saying what her voice couldn't. For the first time, the cabin felt like more than a house, it felt like home. Dawn broke, and Evelyn packed her few belongings, ready to slip away. At the door, she faced Wade, her voice brittle. "I'm sorry, Mr. Callahan. You've done too much. If I stay, people will talk. They'll say I'm using you." Wade stepped closer, his voice steady. "I've lived here 15 years, Evelyn. I've heard rumors. But I've never had someone make this place feel alive. The kids need you. I need you." Her tears fell as she whispered, "I'm tired of hiding." He took her hand. "Then stay. For them. For me." She nodded, her voice small but certain. "All right. I'll stay." Dusk brought trouble. 3 riders approached, led by Cal Rower, Evelyn's husband, his smirk cutting through the twilight. "Heard you're sheltering what's mine," he sneered. Wade stepped forward. "She's not yours." Cal waved a paper, "Birth certificates. The kids are. $100 each, or I take them." Evelyn's voice cut through, fierce. "You'll never have them." Cal lunged, and a fight broke out. Wade took blows, falling to the dirt, but before it escalated, a gunshot rang out. Jed Weaver, a neighbor, stood with his wife, weapons raised. "This is our business now," Jed said. Cal fled, cursing. In a courtroom days later, Evelyn faced Cal again. The judge demanded proof of custody. Cal brandished his papers, but an old woman, Esther Whitlock, testified, her voice steady. "I heard him say he didn't want her, just the kids for money." The judge granted Evelyn full guardianship. Outside, they found the ranch vandalized, the chicken coop destroyed, a message scrawled, "You lose." Wade rode out that night. When he returned, sheriffs got him. "It's over." Evelyn looked to the stars. "No," she whispered. "It's beginning." The ranch grew into a haven. The coop was rebuilt, stronger, with the children hammering nails and laughing. Evelyn and Wade stood together one evening, her hand resting on his. "I want to stop knocking," she said. "I want to be Evelyn Callahan." He pressed her hand to his chest, a silent vow. Years passed. The ranch became a refuge for orphans, 10 children by the time Wade was 60. Evelyn taught them to read, pausing at the word belong. "Who does this remind you of?" she'd ask. Clara, now grown, always answered, "Us." Above the door, Wade carved a sign, "This land raised more than crops. It raised hearts." Strangers came, some knocking, some not needing to. The Callahan Ranch became a legend, not for its fields, but for its open door, where love grew from ruin, and no one had to knock twice. If this tale of resilience and love in the wild Wyoming Territory stirred your soul, saddle up with Wild West Love Stories for more. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join us for cinematic journeys into the heart of the frontier, where grit meets grace, and every ending echoes with hope. Because out here, the wild doesn't break hearts, it heals them.